Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of. We haven't really decided the name of this series yet. I'm thinking something like Experts in AI, but we'd love to kind of hear your thoughts about it later. My name is Nicholas Abram. I am a business development manager with DeepBrain. And today we are joined by AI News. We have a special guest today, unexpected but fun. So I'll let them introduce themselves.
My name is Alicia Shapiro. I am the Chief Marketing Officer for AI News. I'm also the one that runs our newsletter, the website, social media. I do our interviews. And I'm the one you're going to be talking to on social media. So drop me a line, say hello. AI News, and then the word dot is spelled out. DOT.com.
Nice to meet you, Alicia, everyone.
She's also just traveled to Vegas for AI 4.io and interviewed about half a dozen people. So she travels as well.
Yep.
And I'm Michael. I actually founded the company about 6 years ago, moving the company around in a position that we wanted to finally enable the news. Cold emailed or cold messaged on LinkedIn, DeepBrain, went through a webinar with a gentleman out of South Korea, and then a gentleman graduates from Stanford named Nick, and flies down, meets us. He goes, "Look, we can make the news with you." And we've been hanging out and doing events like this and talking and connecting. So it's been a blessing in disguise working with DeepBrain and being able to promote the news with having Alicia as the avatar. Now digital avatar is what I call it, because now it's gotten so pure and the quality is way better. So
yeah.
Thank you. So everyone, this is AI News. We're so excited to have a conversation with them today. We'll be kind of just free chatting about generative AI, the media industry, news industry, and so we're so excited about it. So laughs will be had. So I guess the first question that I have for you guys is, we're going to get the business out of the way first, and then we'll have fun. How do you guys use DeepBrain AI within your news cycle, and how do you use AI studios to deliver the news?
Well, the biggest way is, like Michael was mentioning earlier, we use your custom avatars to read our news stories. They become AI Alicia, AI Michael, and they're our news anchors who read the occasional news story. And we use ChatGPT to help write the scripts. And now we can clone ourselves and become real avatars. And
you finally have your digital that you wanted,
yes,
right?
yes. And so, yeah, our avatars read the news just like news anchors would on your local TV news.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff.
And that was actually the reason for starting the company was I thought, oh, this is going to happen. You literally don't have to drive into work. You could be your own avatar. Hence, writing on the message on LinkedIn to Felix Kim saying, will this happen now? And I think it's taken 6 years until finally 2024 rolls around and boom, you guys upgrade the software and now we can actually do it. It's unbelievable. I cannot imagine what's going to happen in the whole news space as more and more people find out about DeepBrain. But you offering the service, I mean, for under $1,000 a month, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and Michael, I think it's crazy that you were so visionary with picking the domain name 6 years ago, because no one was
very
thinking about
forward thinking.
Well, I thought, what are you going to call it? Like, what would you call it? It'd be artificialintelligencenews.com. I'm like, ooh, people aren't going to say that. You aren't going to say that 30 times in a day. You're going to say AI. So that really worked out. That the gentleman was very kind out of Los Angeles to sell it to me after owning it for 22 years. So
I remember one of the stories you told me was like how the name actually came about. What was the original meaning of the AI and AI News?
God. It was an adult industry news. I can't believe it. That's what he thought. Right? That would be the idea. And then everyone's now positioning themselves online as the AI expert. And I mean, he absolutely didn't this niche, and clearly it lucked out in our favor. And it's amazing how many people write us and they say, hey, look at our technology. We're AI News. We're AI News. AI News.br for Brazil. AI News this. AI News that. I said, fantastic. Keep building those in your communities. We'll supply the DeepBrain software to your companies.
Yeah.
And we don't even have to meet any of these news anchors. I mean, you literally can create yourself an avatar on your platform, and now they're knocking out news.
I just thought of that. We could have an international correspondent.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool.
Watch out for our upcoming news from our international correspondent.
Hey, well, did you know that we do allow you to like use your custom avatar to speak in 29 different languages? So, I mean, hey, it could be AI Alicia, you know?
Could be AI Alicia.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's very, very cool.
I'm going to have to play around with that. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. So anyways, but I'm curious because you guys are in the media industry and you guys like have more familiarity with everything going on. What are your thoughts of the current state of generative AI within the news industry?
I think it's great. I wouldn't be able to do my job as easily without it. So I'm really appreciative of Chat GPT and AI Studios and things like that, because so when I do our newsletter every day, we have a newsletter every day.
Sure. I know. I read it at 11 o'clock sharp or 12 o'clock sharp whenever it comes out.
Somewhere between 11 and 12:30 is when it comes out. But we produce our own news stories. So I'm taking the headlines from the day and I'm rewriting them through Chat GPT and editing them. So there's always a human in the loop, as they say. But we produce between 9 and 10 articles every day. So if I had to do that without generative AI, I wouldn't be doing anything else. That's all I would be doing, is writing articles. It just takes me 100,000 times longer. So I think generative AI is a very important tool for the news industry. I think it can help them do research. I think it can help brainstorm ideas. I think it can help them fluff out their stories if they need to. It's just going to help do your job faster. It's not going to necessarily, I think there's always going to be a need for journalists and news anchors, reporters, but if we had these tools, we can just do more efficient, more effective work in a quicker time.
It reminds me of something we've discussed before about how these tools are kind of democratizing the news process.
Yeah, it is. And like Michael was talking about earlier, you don't need a big fancy news studio. You don't need a news production team. We've got AI studios, custom avatars to read our news. And we use ChatGPT to help write our stories. So it really is leveling the playing field for journalists that want to maybe become a reporter or, in some niche field that, they can take and run with.
It's very interesting because a lot of the, obviously tech has seen its good and bad, and people are kind of disillusioned with the magic of tech sometimes, but like on the other hand, it's like, wow, this is super cool, this is super magical. And I think a lot of that value just comes from like the democratization of a lot of kind of legacy things where you had to have a large workflow, you had to have a 20, 30, 40, 50 person team just to do like one task. And now with AI, you're like anyone can kind of build it out and kind of develop it in that way.
I will say, though, it is still important for journalists to have a journalistic mind, to ask those questions and be curious, because ChatGPT is great for helping you write the story and doing some research and maybe with perplexity or whatever. But you still need to have the creative mind. You still need to be able to tell the story. And, that's something that AI isn't quite there yet,
Yeah. I get that. I think I agree. One of the things we're doing is we're doing like deepfake detection, and we very much our fingers on the pulse of like, okay, how do we make this like ethical? How do we make this like, you know, something that people can trust and people can like actually see as, you know, because everyone's scared of AI when they first see it, but then,
Yeah.
you know, like you said, like, you know, just having that human in the loop, having that human touch, like the journalistic integrity, you know, the soft skills are very important for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll add to that. It gives so much access to students in high school and in college for hundreds of dollars a month to now promote the news in their town of 400 people, 4,000, 40,000, whereas
Yeah.
we were never given the opportunity, or there was one chance to be a news anchor for
Mhm.
14 people, and
Mhm.
they don't get the chance. And that person could be hired for 10 years and they have to move on. Now you can open up your own news company, even if it's for the love of cats or dogs or any type of news. You can
Yeah.
use artificial intelligence software to promote the news with your own avatar. And
Yeah.
that we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen the explosion of all these universities now promoting the news, how these young kids want to do it. And if they find out more and more about DeepBrain and the products that AInews.com is using, now they can actually get to the front of the line, and it's up to them to be the number one in their community. Because the news industry, the radio industry, it's all dog eat dog world. But that's also a great thing too, because it competes, as Alicia said, on a democratized level. Now everybody has the same products available. They just need to know about them. And it's just so small, the industry right now. We just have to, kind of put ourselves out there more and more to note about it.
Oh, and that brought up a point, AI Studios has these features where, you can summarize PDFs, ask it questions,
I wasn't even gonna bring that up.
but that would be great for students or even reporters to
They don't
do some
know.
research.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you don't have time to read a 52-page document, so why not put it through the system and see what it says?
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm glad you guys love that. That's funny.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Michael,
it's the perfect example. The group that had the Miss World AI, artificially created models. These people can become the news anchors of their countries because they showed up and actually competed. And every year that keeps on coming out more and more. And then obviously we get to the point where, some people favor Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk. You can have Musk promote the news to you, Zuckerberg promote the news to you if they allow it. Or you can have somebody that is in your hometown you remember from 1998 promote the news to you. I mean, you can wake up every morning and still look at that person's face. There's so much creative and behind it because of these software programs. I can't imagine what's going to happen in the next 60 months, just seeing what people are going to do. I mean, imagine a dog news channel, the dogs promoting the news. I mean,
no, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, hey, it's like it can be done, but no one's done it. So let's see who does it. No, I thought that it was very insightful about the fact that a high schooler or the fact that a college student who may not have access to like a full news studio could actually go out there and report something that's near and dear to their hearts. That's not something we've thought about, but I definitely see that being the case. So I guess my question for you then is you have all these great ideas and all these great ways that you're promoting the news. And I think that this niche is just going to explode in the years to come because like people are now starting to warm up to it and be like, oh man, this is very interesting. What are some of the current strategies that you use to engage and retain your audience in the era of AI-driven news?
Well, the easiest way for us is we sometimes ask polls in our newsletter, so our newsletter audience can participate in some feedback and let us know as are the types of articles that we're putting in the newsletter something they want to hear about? Would they rather hear more about funding and acquisitions, or would they rather hear how to implement AI into their business in a real world application way? And so we've done a lot of polls about that. And I feel like we've got a good handle on what our audience would like to hear more about. And that's particularly in the real world applications. Yeah, they want to stay abreast of, what's happening with these big companies, but it's like, well, how does AI affect me? How am I going to thing with it? So having ideas of how AI is being implemented, whether that's in healthcare or my brain just blanked on me, but in different industries, whatever industry they're in, they can do that. And so that's what I try to do. We also have a LinkedIn group for our community to talk amongst themselves and share articles and things like that. So we definitely keep an eye on that when people are posting and seeing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then, I read so many articles every day. So it's just fun to stay on top of everything and be able to distill that for our audience.
Yeah, and I know a lot of journalists are definitely going to be happy hearing that, because it's like, while there are these AI tools that you use, you also use like some tried and true strategies that they're probably familiar with, and probably
Yes.
can be like, oh, this is an easy transition,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely not complicated at all. Like, you still need good marketing, ideas of how you're going to put this onto social media, or whatever. The newsletter is one way we have it. We also like to use I do interviews with top AI leaders, and I think that is a big factor.
Oh, tell me something about that. Tell me something about
Okay,
those
so
interviews.
well, I just had one today with Sanjay Puri, and it's actually our second interview with him. But we interviewed.
So for our audience that doesn't know who Sanjay Puri is, who's he?
Yeah, he is an AI regulations expert, to put it
Okay.
succinctly. He speaks with the U.S. Congress people. He's spoken to President Biden. He works with senators and representatives to help guide them on what should be regulated and what to think about. We were just talking about it today, and he said the biggest issues that come up for him are the United States doesn't really want to have a comprehensive regulations plan like the EU Act is for Europe. So, well, because we're a country that doesn't really like corporate regulations, which is fine, whatever. But so he's saying but what's interesting to him is they decided AI still does need regulations. We need guardrails in place.
Sure.
But it's interesting because the United States is taking a I can't think of the word, but it's an incremental approach to regulations versus the comprehensive. Because he said, part of the senators' concerns were, they don't want to put these regulations in place, and then the technology change in a few months, and then these regulations don't matter. So that's kind of the thinking behind the United States, is that they're rolling out these regulations incrementally as the technology evolves. So I actually kind of thought that was interesting and maybe a good idea. But we talk with all kinds of leaders. We've had Wes Cummins, who's creating a sustainable data center up in North Dakota that is going to be able to power these GPUs that are so necessary to run artificial intelligence platforms. We've talked to, at the AI4 conference I attended last week, I got to speak with Nick Cleverhoff, and he is one of the first 7 alpha artists that got to try out the Sora video tool.
Oh yeah.
And him and his team made that Toys R Us commercial, if you remember, a few months ago. And it was this origin story of the founder of Toys R Us. And
Yeah.
So he got access to these tools first
Yeah.
and got to try them and produce this amazing content. I got to speak to him at the AI4. You can go to our YouTube channel and take a look at that interview.
Oh, I know. I'm going to go there and watch those
So
videos.
but these interviews help show our audience what's possible. AI is not just this, fantasy idea that is going to happen. It's already here. And
Yeah.
these people are what I'm talking to show our audience what's possible and how it's being implemented in these other companies. So I think that's very valuable to our audience.
I think so as well. I definitely think so, as I'm one of your audience members.
Yeah,
So
I'll add to that as well. It's I feel like everyone is still in that discovery, what lane you're going to be in niche in AI. So there's a lot of people that write us and they're like, oh, do you know this company? Do you know this person? And while you were noting, a gentleman from San Francisco, a venture capitalist company, Court Cross, he is speaking at Qualcomm Ventures. He invited us 8:43 a.m. He goes, I didn't know about AI news. I'm like, fantastic. He goes, I'll be leading the AI event in San Diego. You can register if you want, and we can meet there. Well, geez,
Wow.
So he's already coming down to us. This is him. And I'm like, all right. So I get to wake up in the morning now, and there's so many people that are actually researching and trying to get a hold of companies in the space to learn more and meet up in person. It reminds me of a couple other industries that I used to go to conventions on. One was 3D printing, when that was so tiny, you could fit everybody into a 7-Eleven. Then it grew to the size of a Costco, and then it grew to the size of like a consumer electronics show event. AI, high school, college, university, it's just starting to have courses and course materials and books written, and the history is just coming. So this is all 2024, just discovery of who is going to stick around, who's growing in the space, who's writing big checks, all that stuff. When they write us, there's one gentleman, forget his name, all he does is he has a newsletter about all the capital raised in the space. And it's so fascinating because the checks aren't small. These aren't like hundreds of thousands or millions. I mean, these are VC firms rushing into this winner takes all kind of situation. It's pretty mind blowing to be in the space today.
Yeah, I think so. So, we're coming up on the 5-minute mark. So I want to give you guys a chance to tell us about your most interesting personal anecdote that you've had working in journalism with the AI space. I know you guys have told a few, but what is your most interesting? What do you you wake up in the morning, you're like, damn, that was a cool experience?
Well, two of them come to mind. One is when you guys came down to San Diego. That was a big deal. That was a big deal for us.
That was fun. We had we had one of our people fly out from Korea to come and visit Alicia and Michael down in South Dakota, in San Diego. And it was very, very fun. It was a great day.
That was so much fun. It was cool that you guys were doing a spotlight on us, and we appreciate that. That's something we won't forget. And then my other one was just last week. I went to the AI4 conference, and I'd never been before. Apparently it's been going on for several years. But I got to meet the sessions were very informative and very valuable. I mean, it wasn't like you came away with a workbook of how to implement AI, but you just got inspiration from talking to people and hearing how they're implementing AI into their business and what they're doing. And I got to speak with like 6 or 7 different people and interviewed them at the event. And it was just so fabulous meeting all of those people. Everybody was so nice. And it ranged from interns to CEOs at this event. So it's just amazing to see how many people are dedicated to the AI space and they want to implement it into their business. So that was so exciting for me, and I'm really glad I got to go.
Yeah. How about you, Michael? That sounds like a great experience.
Mine is it was a lot of fun. I connected with Mr. Hinton, the godfather of AI,
Yeah.
60
Oh, yeah.
Minutes guy, and simply ask them, hey, we're laser focused in this niche. Would you mind being a subscriber? And he is. And I just think to myself, people must work so hard to connect with people like that.
Yeah.
Mr. Hinton, very, very nice, very fortunate to write back, said, okay. And from then on, I just go, oh boy, I go, this is phenomenal to be in a niche where so many people with huge collective insight and intel are willing to, kind of, give us a little bump and say, sure. One day we hope to interview him. That's our, but 60 Minutes can do that over us. So
No, you guys are gonna get there. You guys are gonna get there.
Yep.
yeah, I think the shock too with DeepBrain, just being with you guys for so long and just seeing it go from like cartoon to like perfection, like that's it. Like we don't need, like, once the human eye cannot decipher higher quality avatars, it's over. I mean, you don't have to make it better and better and better. You've got it.
Yeah.
So we're here in 2024, not 2030 or 2050. So we're here today.
Yeah. And then one of the things I was telling Alicia the other day was just, I think your workflow that you guys have is very focused on a bias to action. And that's one thing that I'm very, very I appreciate a lot, because, you don't have to get everything perfect. Like you said, once the human eye can't distinguish, it's good enough. And then you can just go and you can actually do what you need to do.
Yeah. So. The 80 to 90% rule. Like, if you work so hard to have it perfect, you're already going to be antiquated. Like, AI winner takes all. It's not going to slow down.
Yeah.
And I think that you're so right. Like, the more people that we can help and get those precious emails of like, thank you so much, I'm going to start my own news company, that never gets old. So that idea for us was really big as well, is seeing it happen, running through ainews.com, you texting us, go, oh boy, we're going to have something big coming up. And next thing you know, your quality or feature, languages are coming out. My wife and I are going to Vietnam December the 18th. I'm thinking, that could be a language, that we could do a couple news briefs on. I mean, it's endless. So it is exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Sure. This is Michael and Alicia from AI News. You guys have any closing words you guys want to speak before we do a last sign off?
Yeah, just don't be afraid of AI. Just get your hands on some of the tools, and even if they're free, try them out. Just experiment with them and see what you can do. Because once you see the power of AI and how it can affect your daily workflow, like, you're never going back. So just, don't think, oh, I haven't taken a course. I don't, just try it. Sign up for an account and try it and play around.
Experience is the best course.
And jump in now if you can, because once everybody has access to these tools, now you're going to have a hard time differentiating yourself. But if you can jump out now, you're going to be the leader of the pack.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. Just for our audience to know, this was a webinar with AI News, ainews.com, and they have a LinkedIn page that you should go follow. Next month, we will be doing a product release with AI Studios. So we're going to be doing a massive UI overhaul, and we're excited to share that with you. And then in October, we're going to be doing a webinar detailing our deepfake detection software and how that works with the Korean police defense.
That's awesome.
I don't know the exact name. I'll have to look it up, but
that sounds great though. I'll be there.
We're gonna be talking about that. So a lot of exciting, fun stuff to happen in the near future. But for now, thank you guys for joining us, and we're going to
Thank you for having us.
Cool. Thanks, Nick, as always.